So I want to tell a story about an outer body experience that I have. Like everyone says it was a near death experience, but I wasn't facing death. What I had been dealing with was a very like not nice person that I married, and I had two children with him, and so he was suing me. Like I was married for 9 years, and he sued me for 11. And basically, he was trying to take the kids and sending them to his sister who lived in New Jersey. And the kids didn't want to do this, and they were going to private school, and they were going to terrible, like private school is terrible, I think. But anyways, compared to where I grew up, which was in Orange County in Anaheim, and the beach and horses, and it was amazing. But anyways, so he'd been suing me, like selling real estate, and every time I'd put a sign out, I would get served a subpoena to go to court every time. So once this man comes up to me and he goes, "Are you Pamela Manzi?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Oh, I just want you to know I'm really good friends with so and so, and his office is across the street from so and so, which is my ex-husband." And I was like, "Oh." So then he goes, "Well, we want to buy a house." So they ended up buying a house with me, working with me, but because I'd been like served so many times, I was like, "No, I'm not Pam Manzi. That I'm not." I was scared, and so I kept going to court. I had to go to court like all the time. Like it was horrible. I couldn't work. I couldn't make money. And then my daughter, she was like, she was 16, 15 or 16, and she wanted a relationship with her dad. So I was afraid for her to go there because he's he's not, he's pretty mean. So I was scared that she was going to go there. And we went to therapy, and of course it was his therapist and stuff. And she kind of talked me into letting my daughter go live with him. And my daughter was so excited. Well, that lasted a little, like, she went to a new school there, which was great because she got away from the people that she had become friends with here in Mission Viejo. They weren't like, they were like driving cars, stealing cars in the middle of the night. Like when I was asleep, my car, it was a nightmare actually. So she wanted to go live with her dad, and I was like, I didn't really want her to do that, but she really wanted a relationship with him. And he was on his second, well, I think I was his second wife. The first wife he got married to, it was annulled. He's Catholic. I'm Protestant, like I'm super Christian. And then when we got married, I went to classes and turned into a Catholic so I could get married to him in a church. So he wasn't living in sin, but he's a sinner. That's all I'm going to say. Big one. So so we got married, and like we had no money, just me. I had a job. He was in school. He was a doctor, but he just got out of school, and I think he got divorced from the first wife, and they lived in Manhattan Beach, and he ended up with he had like a new Mercedes, but he never had a job. So now that I've done some research, I think he was married, it got annulled, and they just like they had a house together or something, and so they sold that. And then he had like, I don't know, enough money to pay cash for a 450 SL Mercedes. And that's what he had when I met him. And I have to admit, he was pretty nice. I liked him. I married him and then had children with him. But the minute I got married to him, he changed. He became so like unloving, and he just called me names, said all these horrible things, like I wasn't attractive. I was like, I was pregnant. I was 5 months pregnant with my daughter. And he told me, if your butt gets any bigger, the only thing you're going to see are the taillights of my car. And I'm like, why? And he goes, because I'll be driving away. I was like, oh, that's awful. I was like, oh. Anyway, so we didn't have any money. So he makes up this idea that we're going to go to Tahoe and have our honeymoon there. So we're staying at one of his friends. He's married with like 3 kids, and he has like a condo there. So we don't have to pay any money to live there. to stay there. So that's what we did. So the minute we get there, he was into golf or tennis. He always changed whenever I wanted to hang out with him. He would go from a different sport. But at that time, he was into golf, and Tahoe was kind of chilly. So he wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he goes, "Well, there's people here from the office, and I'm going to go golf with them and hang out with them." So I was like, "Oh, that's quite a fun honeymoon." Whatever. So I was like, okay. So, and of course I had money, but he had student loans, and we bought a house, and that was all with my money. And then I had no money. Nothing. So I'm sitting in the timeshare, the Friends townhouse, and I can't even do anything because I don't have a penny, not a penny. And I'm sitting in there, and I'm just like, this is my honeymoon. Like, and I'm 5 months pregnant. So then he comes back like around 6 o'clock when the sun goes down, and his legs are like purple because it was so cold outside. And he's wearing shorts to go golf in. So I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. So he goes, "Well, we're going to go to dinner with the guy that I golfed with and stuff." I was like, okay. So we go into the bar, and we sit down, and there's all these people show up. And then the guy that he said he went golfing with, I was so stupid. I didn't think you get married and you're still dating. I didn't know that. You date the girl that works in your office. That's what he was doing. Now he's married to her. But back then, 100 years ago, I'm in the bar, and the guy looks at me, and he goes, "Are you pregnant?" Because I was 5 months pregnant. And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I just want you to know, I never met him before." This is what he tells me, but I didn't click. He goes, "I was just in the bar, and he grabbed me, and he goes, 'Do you want to have dinner?' And he goes, 'I'll just pay your dinner. You just tell her that you know." He goes, "I never met him before." And I was like, oh, why would he do that? Like, invite a total stranger to dinner. So anyways, the next day, same thing. We were there for 3 days. The next day I didn't see him. Same thing. He gets up at 6 in the morning, and he leaves. So then when he comes back, I'm like, you know what? I want a divorce. I don't think this is going to work. Because this is like, and then the first thing he says to me is like, "Well, how much money do you want?" I'm like, I'm 5 months pregnant. He doesn't even have a job. He's building his office. He doesn't have any money. Why would I think about how much money I want? I just wanted to be married and have a family. That's all I wanted. I wasn't thinking money or anything. I just wanted to be married and have a family. So anyways, we get married. It's pretty like unloving, very unloving. Like, he's always making fun of my look. Like, he just didn't like me. Like, once we got married and I had a baby, he did not like me at all. And it was like, I was so sad. And I was this really happy, vibrant. I had all the friends. I had millions of friends. And I always had dinner parties, and I was like quite the chef. And I had fun. Like, people had fun with me because I was like really fun person. But now I'm like, nothing I do is good enough for him. And I kept trying to make him like me, and it just wasn't happening. Like, he was never around. So he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna be playing tennis." So then I took tennis lessons so that we could be together. And so the tennis coach is like, "Wow, she's pretty good, blah, blah, blah." And then the tennis coach goes, "You should get your priorities straight." Because everyone knew that he had a lover on the side, but me. I did not even put it together. I was so like, I don't know, I didn't know you do that when you get married. Like, the minute you get married, like, you start. But he was like 33, and I was like 23. And then the girl that started working for him was like 20, and her name was Marlene. Well, anyways, I never saw him, but I just did. I don't know. I trusted him. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're so stupid," but I was like, I didn't know that. And then, some people were trying to tell me, but I just didn't. It didn't click. Anyway, so then I had a son 17 months after my daughter, and I didn't have a husband. He was gone. He was never home. And then he would take money out of my wallet. One time I went to the store and had $50 in my wallet, and then I went to go buy diapers and stuff. I had no money. So I had to come all the way home, and I was like, I had $50 in my wallet. Did you see it? He goes, yeah, I took it. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, because I knew you wouldn't even know you had it. I'm like, okay. I don't know. I have money. Like, you mean I'm supposed to have none? That's what you're like shocked that I even had any. So, anyways, this is getting pretty like miserable marriage. Miserable. So then I was married like 7 years, 8 years. And then I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is horrible. And then he would be so mean to me in front of the kids. Like, he was always yelling at me, and like, he was just mean, like a narcissist, mean. So then I tell him, I go, yeah, we just can't do this anymore. So I want a divorce. So he moves out. And I was like, I didn't really want a divorce. I wanted him to show that he cared enough to like be with me. So I called him in the morning, and a woman answers the phone. A woman. And I was like, I was shocked. I hung up. And then we were in therapy, and the therapist said, blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, I think I got the wrong number. Oh my God. I was just so stupid. Like, so stupid. And so after we were doing therapy, because my dad was an alcoholic, so you can see why I was a caretaker and involved in a dysfunctional relationship, how I let someone talk mean to me all the time and accept that. So this is just chapter number 1. I'm going to get to my outer body experience because I had it was a lot that led up to it, and I can't just like blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so we go to get divorced, and I didn't mention, but we did go to the Cayman Islands, and he had a friend named Graham. And apparently he set up, because we've been married 7 years, and now he's an ophthalmologist, and he's making pretty good money by now. And so he had a friend named Graham, and he went to the Cayman Islands, and they set up an offshore funding account. I didn't know that that's how you hid money. I was really young, and I didn't know anything about like being conniving, because I grew up in Anaheim, and if your word's not good, you're not good. So I married someone from New Jersey, and all I found out was like, the more conniving you are, they think you're smart and clever. And it's like all sport to like hurt people that you love, that love you. Like, it's sport. So I guess I should stop, but we'll come into chapter number 2. So we're going to therapy all the time. And I'll just say this. The therapist asked me, who is someone that you idolize? And I'm like, idolize? I don't really idolize anyone. I go, what do you mean by that? And he goes, oh, just someone you look up to. And I thought about it, and I was really into the Rolling Stones. And I go, I guess that would be Mick Jagger, because he gets up on stage and like 60,000 people are looking at him, and they can't take their eyes off him. And to me, I'm really shy. That's why it took me so long to do this. But I'm really shy, and to have people look at me is like, I can't do it. It's horrible. And then for some guy to get up there and just sing like crazy stuff, and everyone's looking at him, I'm like, oh, I guess that would have to be Mick Jagger. He goes, Mick Jagger? And I'm like, yeah. And I go, who's yours? Who's somebody you look up to? And he goes, I like Petula Clark. I'm like, oh my God, this therapist is not, we don't have anything in common at all. So this is chapter number 1. We'll go to chapter number 2. And then I will, I just want to show you some stuff. because this is about my outer body experience, chapter 2. Well, I'm just doing the prelogue, like how I got to that point where I had an outer body experience, and it was all good and it was all God. But I want to show you one thing. You're going to look, this is like kind of cuckoo looking, but all I'm going to say is this is a demon, and this is me with a high spirit, and I went flying through the sky. But here you go. Can you see it? This is the demon, and this is me in that thing. So I'm going to show you some other pictures, but I'm having a good time. Okay, thanks, and tune in to number 2. I'll do it tomorrow or something. I don't know. Bye.